Welcome back to the channel. Today we are working on our Honda CRV. It's a 2017 model and we're going to be installing an Apple CarPlay Android Auto screen from CarTech Studio. We just bought this car a couple weeks ago because we needed a car seat or a car that was big enough to cover a car seat, and so we have that right there. That's just the base. So this is our family car for now. As you can see, baby on board. So in my last video, we had the CarTech Studio head unit for our Mazda 3. And now we loved it so much, we ended up getting another one for the CRV. Like I said before, it's better than Joying or any other head unit out there because it has a better quality control. So I can't wait to try this out and show you guys the features, how amazing it is, how fast and responsive the screen is. It comes with everything you need. We've got also front and rear cameras, all the wiring and harnesses you need specific to your car, of course. Okay, so this is the OEM screen. We're gonna start prying out the AC controls first. Then from here, you're gonna unclip that connector right over there. You can start to remove these two screws over here, these two black screws. Once you remove those, then you can take the screen out. There's a bunch of plugs in the back, so you have to unplug those first. You're just prying the edges. Now from here, you just gotta remove the plugs that are in the back. Kind of hard to see, so I'm gonna do that off camera real quick. So about a minute later, I got all the plugs out. And you can see the back of the unit has a bunch of plugs as well that you have to remove each one. A little bit tricky. What I did do was shift the shifter all the way to L so that you give yourself some room so that you can pull those plugs out little by little. Now we're gonna go ahead and install the new one by plugging in each plug where it's supposed to plug into. Everything should be plug and play with this kit. So let's give it a try. All right, so I've got everything connected. Let me go ahead and show you what I connected and what I did not connect. So pretty much this thing is really just plug and play. You've got this right here and this one right here. Those are the only two connections that I use out of all these other ones. There's plenty of connections that you do not use, including that plug right there. Just those two. And then I hooked up the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi antenna. I hooked up the GPS antenna. I hooked up the camera power wire, which is red over there. This is the front camera connected to the AR yellow RCA jack. This is the rear view camera or the backup camera. Connect that. I connect the pink wire over here to the back wire of the unit. I'm going to go ahead and use some electrical tape on this. Camera power goes to the rear camera power. And I've already got the rear camera and the front camera installed. All right, so I now have it installed. Everything is clean and put back together. Everything works and it fits just like OEM. There's like a slight bit of blockage on the AC vents, but it's nothing too crazy. I can still feel the AC vents when they're blowing. Let's go ahead and turn it on and see the boot up time. And also we can see how fast it connects to my phone for CarPlay. There you go, now it's connecting. And there we are. So the CarPlay works and it works flawlessly. I mean, look how smooth and responsive it is. This is wireless CarPlay. The audio quality is much better than stock. This is a Honda CRV EX model, which is like a step up above the base model stereo speakers, but it's still not as good as the touring speakers. This one has, I believe, 6 speakers surrounding throughout the car. So let's go ahead and listen to how it sounds. Volume knob works. Yeah, the volume knob works. Steering wheel controls work. see if the next and reverse work. Yep, that works. A little bit of a lag when you use Apple CarPlay wirelessly, but the wired CarPlay does work as well if you prefer that. There's no subwoofer or amplifier in this car, so the bass is not the best, but it definitely sounds better than stock because there is the ability to adjust the equalizer. If we go to home, I can show you the equalizer, which is under sound effect. I see the way you smile. Tell me that you're gonna be staying with me a while. Let's enjoy each other's company. Here's the equalizer settings. You can just choose the normal presets. For me, I just go with the presets, but if you want, you can do individual channels, and there is plenty of channels to choose from if you would like. I believe 3 pages worth of channels, so I just leave mine flat for now because I don't really know too much about how to tune audio to your liking. You can adjust the fade and the balance here, as well as other sound effects. These are, I think, virtual or AI sound effects. Honestly, I don't mess with that stuff, but it's cool to have it. More stuff, especially if you're running like a custom audio setup with your own amplifier and subwoofer like this. It's nice to have all these settings adjustments because you do not have this on the stock screen. The stock screen is pretty much just bare bones bass, treble, and that's it. Those are all your adjustments. Here you have so much adjustments. So honestly, this is a great feature to have, especially if you're an audiophile that loves to tune your sound. Let's go ahead and show you the reverse camera here. So I'm gonna just turn on my headlights. Let's go into reverse. This is the high definition reverse camera. The steering lines do work, as you can see, which is very useful to have. And it is super high definition, like you can see every little detail there. That's really impressive. If I want to see the front camera, I just choose AR camera, and this is the front camera, which is useful to have as well if you're trying to park. Also, I have the DVR set up for front and rear recording, so it's all constantly recording onto the SD card, the rear and the front, and you can press here if you want to play back anything. If you want to lock a file, here's all the files so far. There's plenty to choose from, and it's all time stamped and date stamped as needed. Now I can show you the car settings because it's super important to be able to reset your oil change and your tire pressure monitor. So to do that, you go to car set, and then you can see your trip settings, history, mileage, settings over here, and this will show you everything that you can see on your car normally, and the OEM screen would show up here. I'll show you where the maintenance reset is. It's somewhere over here towards the end. Here it is, vehicle maintenance information reset, so you can reset it there if you'd like. And then your tire pressure calibration is also right here as well. Okay, so if you ever need to reset any of that, and then you can double check it here when you go to the wrench. Right now we're at 90% oil life, so everything is okay so far. Now I can show you the settings right here for the head unit itself. Plenty of settings to choose from. There's the network settings, there's your common settings, like default apps and stuff like that. Again, you don't really need to touch any of this unless you absolutely need to. Everything is pretty much set how you'd like. This one here is pretty cool, the parking monitoring time. So once I change my battery, I might set this to like 30 minutes of continuous recording even when the car's off. That way there you can record any events that happen when you park the car in a parking lot. There's a voltage protection, so it shuts off the cameras and everything at a certain voltage so that you can save your battery. You can reset your keys or customize your keys. You can customize what these buttons do over here, and you can customize your steering wheel buttons as well. For sound, you have the ability to turn off the beep every time you touch. You can set your default volume, microphone gain. When your music is muting, when you reverse, you can disable that, which I just did. And you have your speed control volume right here. I just set it to low. For display settings, we've got brightness, plenty of stuff like date and time. And you can even overclock your CPU, which I would not recommend. You can customize the colors of these buttons right here. I set them to always on, and I just set it to magic mode, where it's just constantly changing different colors. Aux is basically a secondary camera. If you have a camera on your right mirror, which we don't on this car, we just have the blind spot monitoring light over there, so we don't have the camera, but if you did, it would connect right here. We do use the AR camera, which is the front camera. So this is the settings you need to set it to make it work. HD, 1080p, 25 FPS. Here's the reverse camera settings right here. And you can adjust your guidelines, which style track. Again, you have to set it to HD, 1080p, to 25 FPS for it to work properly. And you can adjust other settings here for your rear view camera. Lastly, we have system settings. This is where you can check out any hardware numbers or Android versions you're running. This one is Android 13. CPU info is an 8-core Snapdragon CPU with an Adreno 610 GPU. Very strong specs. 8 gigs of RAM is plenty for this kind of head unit. Overall, this is a very strong head unit that's future-proof in a way, because it doesn't have any lag at all. When you go to factory settings, you need to type in the password, which is 8888. And then again, you have a lot more settings here. These settings you do not want to mess with unless you know what you're doing, because it can mess up the head unit. So this is where you'll probably like update the firmware and change little things here and there that can affect how the car or how the head unit operates. I haven't touched anything here so far. I haven't really needed to, but if you need to, it's there. Screen adjustment, touchscreen calibration, everything is all here if you need it, okay? If you want to go to the apps menu, you can come here, and then you can go to Chrome if you'd like. You can go to the Play Store if you're connected to Wi-Fi, which I'm not at the moment, but you can download apps, any app from the Play Store that you like. You can set it up and install it here, whether you want to install YouTube Music, Netflix. You can watch things in here very easily. It is a big screen, much bigger than the OEM screen, and it's nice to have, you know, those options here if you wanted to. There is a fan on the CPU, so when you're working on overclocking this unit, you can adjust the fan speeds just like you would on a computer. But honestly, I don't really mess with this stuff. I'll just leave it at default for now. There's a lot more features that I may have forgotten here, but overall, this is the best head unit on the market, better than Joying, Eonon, or anything else out there. It works reliably. The warranty is awesome. The company, CarTech Studio, really takes care of you. They send you everything you need. This was the easiest install ever. Plug and play, no splicing of wires required. Everything works. I haven't even showed you the climate control settings, so if you press climate control, and you can see right here, it all works. And it's even in Fahrenheit, unlike the Joying, which is always stuck in Celsius. So it's nice to see that. You can see dual zone climate control works. Low and low. And then I can adjust my fan speed right here. And then AC controls right there, as well as directions of the airflow vents. So overall, CarTech Studio has the best head units for any car out there. I think that you're gonna have a great time installing this. It's super easy. It really blends well with the car. It looks OEM. And I think that the sound quality is much better. The camera quality is better. The speed, the reliability, the ease of use, it's all there for you. So I'll leave a link in the description along with a discount code if you want to buy this head unit for yourself. I think that it's well worth it, and especially if you have a car that has a really old technology or even no screen at all, definitely install one in your car. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a good evening.